Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast, High Risk for Heartbreak. I am your host, Christina, and I'm so glad you decided to join me today. For those of you who are new here, I pray you find value in at least one thing I say today. And to my old and faithful returning crew, you know just how much I appreciate you. So, without further ado, let's relate. Last episode, we talked about the importance of traditions and the necessary through line that they serve for generations of family, for generations of friends, for generations of community to come. And for many of us, the traditions that we have are sort of just ways of life. They're not really anything that we think about. It's just kind of something that we've always done. I know for myself, when I was younger, decorating the Christmas tree, listening to the Nutcracker Ballet on CD, going to see it wasn't a tradition to me. It was just kind of an expectation. And I think that there's something beautiful about that. Traditions in the moment, no matter how many times they are done, feel like expectations of the heart. They feel like this is what I desire to do, and this particular thing comes to me in every single season like this. They become familiar, but they're not necessarily, I think when you're in the moment, they don't necessarily feel like I am creating tradition or I am withholding and upholding tradition, unless we consciously say that. They are purposeful though, and they are necessary to whatever season of life or whatever day or moment of time that it feels right to do that thing. But there are many of us that don't have traditions that we cleave to, especially in our singleness season. Now, I think we should have moments that we are creating that are important to our value system, that are important to our identity, and that we are pulling from our wisdom to pass on, our knowledge to pass on that wisdom to someone else. However, I think many people might not think that they can create traditions if they don't have someone immediately to pass them on to, like an offspring. But I do think that there is something about being able to hold a standard for yourself and for God that is enough, right? And that includes making traditions a standard, regardless of who is there to pass it on to. Like I talked about last episode, these are my things. Now, I got the tradition of decorating every year. Now, my mom doesn't change her theme every year. That's my new thing that I did, okay? But I got that from her, and in my own little way, I have spun that for myself, and that is something that a standard for me. It is a standard that my home is going to be decorated. And for instance, I also really enjoy redecorating my home seasonally. So, it's as simple as like changing the flowers or the foliage. I use a lot of like faux flowers and stuff like that. And I change them from season to season to reflect the flowers of the season. I change the pillow covers on my couch or the throws or the blankets on my bed, all of that stuff, so that it kind of traverses with the season, because that's what I need for myself. That's my own personal tradition. Now, I didn't see that growing up, not that particular thing. However, my mom does love the holidays, and she would add decor, like you guys heard in the last episode. If you didn't, I called my parents so they could verify about these window stickies. So if you missed that, go back to the last episode so you can hear what they had to say. But taking tradition and making it my own was really important to me, and now I have my own new traditions that eventually maybe I will be able to pass along to someone else, or it'll just be something that I share with myself. Now, if I have children, or through other means, I'm able to like mentor young girls. One thing that I can do is pass on the tradition of caring for your home, right? In a way that always makes it feel like a home to you. I remember a time in my life where, this is when I lived in LA, there were a good 4 years, no, it wasn't 4 years, maybe like 2 years, where I did not decorate my apartment because it didn't feel like home to me. I had not fully settled in. Now, I was in LA for almost 8 years, so it took me a while to settle in, but once I was there, obviously. And it took me a while to kind of just feel out the space and like, what does the space need? The same thing with this apartment. This is very different from where I've lived before. It has kind of like a woody feel, and it's different. It's outdoorsy kind of feel to it. So I needed to like read the space. I needed it to tell me what to do. But that's something that I can teach young girls, is giving them a sense of purpose and stewardship and efficacy over their home, and how to care for that in a way that makes their home feel like a home. So when they go there, they feel like a sense of pride and a sense of purpose has been injected into their space, and that it's calming for them. And those are traditions that we can create with people that are not even our own flesh and blood. So I want to give you 3 great traditions that I think that you can take on this holiday season, because it might seem like, well, Christina, I don't know what to do for myself. What do you mean? Like, I don't really like decorating my home, or I don't have the money to even do that, or, it's not something that's important to me. I don't really value that, but I would like to create some type of tradition for the holiday season. And so I want to give you guys a few different things that you could potentially do this holiday season, whether you are a singular or plural person. Okay. Number 3, we're going to count this backwards here. Go outside. I know. It seems like such a simple thing. And it does seem like every time you exit outside, it's $100 at minimum, but it doesn't have to be. At this time of the year, there should be tons of activities going on, even if it is just driving down the street looking at people's lights. There's a neighborhood nearby where I live. My dog and I go walk. These people don't play no games about holiday decorating. I'm talking about Halloween. I'm talking about Christmas. There are no games played. That is going to be lit up. That neighborhood is going to be lit. So we will go and walk through, and that's a tradition that costs me no money, and I get exercise, right? But during the holiday season, there's no shortage of events and activities, whether they're paid or free. Even in the smallest of cities, there's something going on. So get outside. Go alone if you have to. Go ice skating. Go look at the lights, like I said, in local neighborhoods. There's competitions that they even do in some neighborhoods around your city, I'm sure. And we had that in Jacksonville, and they have it here, where you can go to these competitions and look at people's lights. Go eat at that restaurant that has a holiday special happening, especially during Valentine's Day, which I'm very excited about, by the way, because I have a series coming up for Valentine's Day. I know that's next year, but I'm preparing already for that, and I cannot wait. But there also are holiday special dinners, right? Where the restaurants will house these dinners, and you can come in and dine, and things are set up in a certain way. And I think that's fantastic. Dress up for yourself. Go eat by yourself. And if you have to, you can take friends, right? You don't necessarily have to take friends with you, but your traditions aren't only meant for friends and family, etc. They're also meant for you to enjoy. And so I think you should allow yourself to kind of discover and create new traditions from going outside. You can figure out a lot about what you think about certain things, and you can find out a lot about how you feel and who you are as a person based on what you do outside and what you do and don't like. Okay. Number 2 is host a holiday gathering. Now, I know this isn't everybody, especially for my fellow introverts out there. You're like, no, ma'am, I don't want anybody in my home. I'm not good at that. I can't cook. What will I do? How do I host? I'm scared. I'm nervous, whatever. Now, this is something I will say, as a fellow introvert, I have loved doing in the past. I do not do it all the time. People are never at my house, actually. That is the only time of the year they would be, if it's not for an audition, okay? Period. Unless it's somebody very close to me. So I don't host parties often, but also I don't feel like I'm in the space that I want to be in, where I could have that and not have to worry about complaints from the downstairs neighbors, noise complaints, right? Because I want to be able to do the things I want to do. But I think if you are in the space to do that, host a holiday party. Do it. Gather some friends together. It doesn't have to be a whole bunch. And have some friends over at your home. You can keep it quaint. You can keep it cute. You can make it as big as you want or as small as you want. You can create a new tradition of gathering your people together for the holiday to fellowship, right? And at this time of the year, I think people are more willing to participate in these holiday festivities than they would be any other time of the year. There's joy in the air. So people are just going party to party to party, okay? You can do a cookie bake-off. You can do an ornament decorating party. I mean, another favorite of mine is like a holiday movie sleepover. That would be amazing. You can have your friends pick their top 3 favorite movies, and then you guys watch them back to back in your PJs, take pictures, eat candy and cookies and ice cream. That's another thing that you can do. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. Last but not least, I would say this is probably the most important thing, I think, during this holiday season from Thanksgiving on, is to volunteer. Volunteer locally. Joy is in abundance at this time of the year, but we also have learned in a prior episode that grief is also very much in abundance at this time of the year. There are people that are looking for somewhere to receive the love that is now gone, or the care that has evaded them. because whomever used to do those things is no longer here. And that's where we come in. We can serve people through random acts of kindness, like paying for their gas or their groceries, which I have done before, or their fast food. If you're in the line in front of them, you can pay for their meal, drive off. You don't have to put it on social media and say anything. It's a random act of kindness that you do out of the kindness of your heart if you have the means to do that. You can also volunteer at a local mission that serves food to the houseless, right? My church had a really big event. It was like 2 weeks long event, Change Cares, and it was food donations. And they were able to give over 1,000 families at all four locations food boxes for the holiday season. And there was a way that everyone could participate. They could participate by donating money to go towards the cause, or donating items to go towards the cause, or donating their time to go towards the cause. And that just fortifies that there are so many ways that we can get involved and help locally and create a new tradition of that. It really is really nice. It's really nice at this time of the year to be able to put yourself aside when you've been putting yourself in the front all year, right? To put yourself aside for a moment, and the joy that you actually get from serving others is special. If you haven't done it, you should try it. There's something about service for me that kind of exposes a reluctant heart, right? If you're not the type of person that serves and you're like, I don't really care about people like that, or I don't really want to serve people like that, I think there's something beautiful about going and doing it anyway, because it'll teach you something about your heart and where it is. Service also, though, it meets the humble heart. So for those of you that are constantly in service of others, going to do that only adds to your joy, and it's something that God has called us to do as well. And so I think it's really important. In the most beautiful way, this is something that really could bless you. And this is a tradition that you can uphold, that has value, that gives you a sense of identity and purpose, and that you can use wisely throughout the ages. I say the ages like we've got multiple ages that we're going to live in, but you know what I mean, that you can pass on to someone that is meaningful to you, or that you can just hold as your own personal tradition. Remember, you guys, serving others is a gift, and it is really the gift that keeps on giving. That's why we give at this time of the year, because of the gift of Jesus Christ coming to this earth, giving us a possibility for eternal life. That is why we give. And while commercially there are other reasons why we give, okay? Giving someone a gift or receiving a gift, it really does bring you a sense of joy if that's something that you love. And I do want us to continue to give the greatest gift that we could give to each other, and that is love. That is love. And so remember, in order to do that, you've got to love yourself first. So create those traditions for yourself. You don't have to wait. Create those traditions for yourself and love on yourself in that kind of way. And it'll be much, much easier to go out there and serve and love your neighbor. Until next time.